Hi, I'm so glad to be recording this. My name's Cassandra. If you've listened to my episodes before, welcome back. This is the Sincerely Cast podcast. If you are new here, welcome. I am so hungry right now. People are so dumb sometimes. Like, I just saw a notification that popped up on my phone, and people don't understand that their actions have consequences. Anyway, I couldn't understand for the life of me why I kept beginning and stopping on these episodes until the light bulb went off one day and I realized that I'm so fucking tired of talking about mental health in a capacity where I feel like I have it all together or experience the pressure of having it all together. I'm like, I don't want to talk about the how to's or the how don'ts in that capacity anymore because of the fact that I am not someone that has it all together. Togetherness is not my niche. And so I think that was burning me out. I realized like I'm just a millennial. Like leave me alone. I don't want to talk about mental health in a way that this is why my life is like great. No, because my life is far from perfect, even though I strive for perfection, but it is far from perfect. I figured in these episodes, we're going to talk about all things millennial. I don't know if I mentioned, I'm a licensed mental health counselor. I'm a dog mom. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. I'm a daughter or whatever, an overthinker. And it is just what it is. And we're going to talk about all these topics, all of these adulting topics from dating to parenting. Listen, I'm a mother, okay? I have 2 dogs, technically 3, but 2 are mine. But having friends who are parents and seeing how that relates and fits to the current dynamic of my life, we're going to talk about mental health struggles, obviously, and all of the WTF moments in between. So, whether you are figuring your life out, figuring your love life out, or just figuring out when you're supposed to eat, this is the right place for you. This is the right place. We're going to get your drink of choice. I want to show you my Lizzie McGuire tumbler, whatever this is called. How cute is she? I got her at the farm. I think the creator has an Instagram page. I think it's called Created by Christine. I'm pretty sure it's that, Christine. Look them up. She had so many cute different items, and I wish I could have bought it all, but this will suffice for now. So grab your drink of choice, get cozy, and we're gonna dive into today's episode. I am going to preface this by saying these episodes are not therapy. Yes, I'm a licensed mental health counselor or whatever, but this is 1000% going to be about the ups and downs of my life and ways that I would probably handle a situation. Human first, therapist hat off. So these are not sessions. Don't use them as therapy. There might be some points of reflection that you can maybe adopt, but not therapy. If you are needing professional help, I'm going to link some websites. There's always going to be websites on the footnotes, or you can head over to my mental health page and look up the numbers and contacts there. So I figured today we're going to talk about dating. We're going to just get into it. Okay. We're going to talk about dating because the amount of times that people ask me, like, so what's going on with you? How's dating? I really want to be like, which part? The ghosting or the breadcrumbing? The love bombing or the psychopaths? I don't know. Which one? Which one do you want to hear about? I'm just kidding. Listen, I love meeting new people. I love the apps. I just love it. I'm a people person through and through. I love getting to know what makes someone them. And I feel like dating has really opened my eyes and helped me just on a social aspect, helped me communicate. And I'm still even learning the ins and outs, being a mental health counselor and all of that, like you would think. that my communication skills are top notch, but I promise you there are always unique situations that you can necessarily prepare for. And so I feel like dating kind of opens up that world of situations that are similar but very unique in their own ways that you're going to have to learn how to navigate. And so I feel like, especially being a millennial and being single and having to date, something just shifted. Something shifted. If you are a millennial and you are single and you are having to date, I would love to hear some of your stories and experiences. I feel like the most common things that I have noticed with people around our age is the amount of ghosting and breadcrumbing that happens in or within our generation. And so ghosting looks a lot like you're talking to someone, it's going great, and then from night to day, they just never talk to you again. They never contact you again. And you're almost, if you are the one that's ghosted, it can send you into this like, I don't want to say spiral because it really does depend on your attachment style. But normally, the person that is ghosted is going to begin to question, like, what is it that I did? They're going to hyperfixate on what went wrong and just try to analyze the whole situation in ways that are going to distract them from doing whatever it is they need to take care of on their day to day basis. So, ghosting, being on the receiving end of it, it's not fun. If you are the ghoster, I don't know how to say this without just saying it. You are unwell. There's probably something that is going to be worth exploring. If you talk to people and they're a great person, they're attractive, you can see yourself in some way, shape, or form kind of like expanding the dynamic, but then you find yourself ghosting them, honey, there's something to explore in there, right? I have gotten extremely fascinated, always have been, but more so now as I am learning the dynamic of our generation when it comes to dating. I'm super fascinated by attachment styles. If you don't know your attachment style and you want to learn to navigate the dating scene a little better, I would say start with learning your attachment style. Your attachment style is going to tell you so much about one, why you do the things you do when it comes to relationships, but also it's going to help you unpack. Attachment styles are born during our childhood. And so it's going to help you expand on maybe some of the things that you hadn't realized are important key points pertaining to your childhood. So I would say, definitely start there. But yeah, ghosting is just one of those things that just communication that's non-existent. If you are not into someone, it's okay to let them know, hey, I am not feeling this as much as I would like to be. And I think we should explore other options. It should be simple, right? But for whatever reason, people just think ghosting is okay. I myself have never been a victim of being ghosted. Actually, I have. Yeah, that was kind of ignorant to say. I'm pretty sure I have, but I just recall more being the ghoster. And again, like I said, it's just communication that's non-existent. I didn't have the tools to be able to just say, hey, this is not working out, until I learned that sometimes it's that simple. But most importantly, my biggest fear was appearing as the bad person and appearing as someone who was not going to be liked in the end. Like, my people pleasing tendencies kind of just came out to play. And so I think that is essentially what held me back a lot. I didn't want to seem like a bad person. So instead, I'm going to ghost them and it's going to make me a good person. Sometimes logic just doesn't logic. But that's like the ghosting portion. I feel like a lot of us have gone through that. And it's really hard. Again, we are at an age range where a lot of us are parents, we just started like a family, or we just got promoted, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so much happens in life in general. And then to have to add dating to the mix, and not only that, but dealing with people who are unaware on how to navigate their wounds in relationships. It's like really hard. And then you have like the classic breadcrumbing. This is like known territory for me. Once somebody throws those breadcrumbs, I'm like, this is the love of my life. They're the love of my life. They are, unfortunately. So breadcrumbing is essentially when people almost keep you like on a long leash, right? You can be talking, they disappear for most of the day, sometimes days at a time. If it's like extreme sports, maybe weeks at a time. And then they come back. It's kind of like, hey, as Sabrina put it, on a random Tuesday, you send the soft hey. Yeah, and a lot of us eat it up. And it wasn't until I learned my attachment style that I realized why I was eating it up, right? And so, like I said, I'm such a huge fan of the dating apps and all of that. And, I think one of the things that I quickly realized was how emotionally unavailable I was and how disorganized my nervous system was. Awful. The things that I shouldn't like, I did. The things that I should like, should want, I don't. And it all stems from childhood where things were not on an emotional level available all the time. It was very chaotic, very sporadic. There's a lot of things that happened in childhood that, sometimes we write off and we're like, oh, that happened so long ago. And it's like, whatever, like I'm grown now. I kind of moved on from it. And we don't realize like how much of an impact it actually had on our tiny little nervous systems in the moment until we are in relationships of our own and we kind of see all of this like play out. So attachment styles, like I said, crucial. And things like ghosting and breadcrumbing are huge telltales of the type of attachment style that you have. And so, yeah, the breadcrumbs, give them all to me. I was like a little vacuum, just eating it up. And, I would be lying if I said I'm in a position now where that doesn't attract me still. The thing with our nervous systems and the thing with attachment styles is, well, nervous system in general, because I feel like everything just stems from there. The nervous system is always going to be this thing that looks for what's familiar, even if what's familiar is slowly killing you. And the reason why we ghost, or the reason, aka keep people at arm's length, like you would have thought I was going to be emotionally vulnerable. Yeah, okay. The reason we do that is to protect our nervous systems, because it's what we're used to. We've been used to it since childhood. And so once you learn that your nervous system is pushing people away to keep you safe, and then you deep dive into, oh shit, why does it think it needs to keep me safe? Like, what happened before that it thought I wasn't safe and it did that and then it helped me feel safe? The more you dive into that, you're going to begin to separate that from present moment, because you're going to realize one of two things, right? If you are someone with an avoidant attachment style and you push people away, you ghost people, you're going to realize that either, oh my God, even in adulthood, I've surrounded myself with people who I don't feel safe with, who are dubs. Like, why am I hanging out with these people? You're going to realize that, or you're going to realize the complete opposite. Wow, I actually did a hell of a job at securing company that's really good for me. Yet there's still that irony of I hold them at arm's length. You understand what I'm saying? Like, everything is just a little like domino effect. So yeah, the breadcrumbing, I do that too. I am both on the receiving and giving end of that. And again, it's just due to my disorganized attachment style. And it's not an excuse. It's something that like you do have to work on. It is your responsibility to work on. You are dealing with people. Remember that they are human. They are just as much human as you are. And it is your responsibility to not cause harm to other people. And so it's so important with the dating scene, I really just had to learn, and I'm still learning because I think dating apps are like little playgrounds. Like it's almost like a catch 22 where we have the world at our fingertips and we can meet so many people at our fingertips, but a lot of us are wanting to explore the world and not having done any inner work ourselves. And so it's not cool. Dating, again, as a millennial is very challenging. And I'm just talking about like nervous systems and attachment styles. We haven't even begun to dig into, for example, like single parenthood. That in and of itself is ridiculous. I'll probably talk more in depth about like parenthood and being a millennial in another episode, but I do always reminds people, my clients, this society was not built and set up so that mothers, single fathers, it wasn't set up for y'all to succeed. How is it possible that we have to work 40 hours a week, possibly more, because let's be honest, our economy is trash, and still be a mom or still be a dad, still have to take care of someone who has their own nervous system? By the way, we're talking about attachment styles and nervous systems and all of that. And like, yo, the responsibility that some of you have is huge. You got to take care of someone's little nervous system, put food in the fridge, collect paychecks, work so damn much, and still have energy and time to work on yourself and give yourself the needs that you have. It's a disgusting system, and it was not built for us to thrive. And so if you find yourself feeling like you're not doing enough, there's not enough time, I promise you, it's not in your head. You are probably in a state of survival, and it is so important to first recognize that and then begin to plan little ways for you to try to find pockets of time, right? We're not looking at the typical blueprint. You get home, you take care of your kids, you put food on the table, you work on yourself, you have your own like dating life, hanging out life, social life. You got to create your own blueprint. It's not going to be a copy and paste like everybody else's. And that's okay. Like eventually you're going to work to find the flow that works for you. But like I said, I digress because that is a topic in and of itself. But I think that going back to dating and mental health, like I know there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can navigate the dating world. A lot of people kind of just are choosing to take their solidarity. I don't even know if that's a word. They're just choosing to be alone. They're choosing to work on themselves, to heal themselves. And I think it is a fantastic place to start. It's a fantastic place to start. My sister and best friend, they're genuinely terrified. I was going to say scared, but terrified is more the word whenever I tell them that I'm meeting someone from the apps, because they're scared that I'm going to pop up unalived somewhere. So, you guys know the rules and the guidelines. Obviously, always meet somewhere in public, etc. But apps are not the only way to get to know someone. And if you are not quite ready to do some like deep diving within yourself and just be completely alone, that's cool too. There is no one shoe fits all. I think the girlies, or some men who are opting to just focus on themselves, be alone, I would say to just remember a lot of the times our triggers are people. And so if we're alone, of course it's going to be easy to call your own shots, just not talk to certain people, etc. But then it gets a little tricky when you do begin to date and you are so used to kind of just being independent that you don't factor in the amount of work it takes to just flow with someone, right? So that is the only thing. Like, you can work on yourself, be alone, etc., but just pin that somewhere, that eventually you are going to have to learn how to flow and work with someone who is not quite doing things as you normally would because you got so used to doing it by yourself. Okay, I hope that makes sense. But yeah, my older sister and best friend always joke around with me like, what happened? Like, I thought you were done dating. I thought you were gonna like be alone and whatever. And I was like, just kidding. I'm just kidding. I love people. I love people. I'm a people person. And I think I'm still navigating the fear of being alone, although that doesn't necessarily resonate so much emotionally because I love being alone. I do. I love going home and taking up the whole bed, putting on whatever it is I want to watch on Netflix or something, like not having to talk to anyone, just cuddle with my dogs. Like I love that. I love that. And if God forbid a man were to text me and say, "What are you doing?" When I'm doing that, I'll be like, "Ugh." I don't think it's so much that I'm afraid to be alone, but I think my challenge is reflecting on why I'm making the decisions that I'm making. What's driving the decisions that I'm making? Is it because in this moment, I don't feel the self love and I need someone to validate that for me? You know what I'm saying? That is my own journey and healing journey and questions that I need to ask myself because I know that my disorganized attachment from childhood has almost led me to believe that love is conditional and love is not always readily available. And when it is, you have to be mistrustful of it. And when it's not there, you also have to be mistrustful of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's my own journey. But again, it did take a little while to kind of get there. But I think overall, what helped me, and I'm gonna repeat it till I'm blue in the face, like having a therapist. I know I'm a therapist, but I need a therapist to help me see the perspectives that I cannot see on my own. Because a lot of the perspectives that I cannot see on my own are driven by wounds. They're driven by my own wounds, and my subconscious and your subconscious and everybody's subconscious does a hell of a job at protecting you from the things that it doesn't want you to unpack yet. And so, how can I heal from things that my own mind is trying to protect me from? Because it's what's safe, it's what's comfortable, right? And so, having a therapist, I feel, kind of breaks through those subconscious doors in a way that's not traumatizing, shouldn't be traumatizing. But again, I know it's kind of hard sometimes to find like the right therapist, but I do want to encourage you, like, don't give up. Just because one is not the right fit does not mean that you should just stop your search. You'll be so surprised. I am in my life now, I'm on like my fourth therapist, I want to say. And every single time it's just evolved. My last therapist was there for a season, and it was the season that I needed. It was the season of me just having to hear myself talk. My first therapist was there to help me, well, my second therapist was there to help me navigate my relationship issues when I was just like emerging into it. And then the first therapist, like, I just didn't resonate with at all. I word vomited, and then I never saw her again because her response to what I had let her in on, it wasn't quite exactly what I was looking for in more ways than not. And so, yeah, I just trusted my intuition. And I'm so glad that I did because now I'm on my fourth. Like I said, I had a session with them today, and it was amazing. It was like it fit like a glove, you know? And so I was very excited about that. But I would say definitely talk to a therapist if you're not comfortable talking to a therapist, like who is in your community, who's in your social circle that you can trust to be lovingly open and honest with you. There's a difference between someone just being blunt. Well, I'm just blunt. I'm just truthful. No, honey, you're just mean. You're just me. Learn your audience. Some people do good with tough love. Other people do very well with soft validation. And it just is what it is. So figure out how it is that you want to receive certain things. Figure out who is in your circle, who can you trust enough to show you things that your wounded eyes can't necessarily see. Like I said, learn your attachment style. If you go onto my mental health page, I posted a carousel on the different types of attachment styles and examples of them and all of that. If you still have a tough time trying to decipher which one is your attachment style, that's okay. It could be kind of complicated sometimes. And so this is where more of a professional setting might benefit you. And also what helped me in my own healing journey was listening to how I would talk to myself. And so affirmations, especially like before like heavily diving into the dating world and stuff, affirmations were like my best friend. And the way that I talk to myself, my inner dialogue was in the pits of hell. My self-talk, honestly, it was disgusting. Disgusting. I hated myself. I high key hated myself, but the dialogue that I had developed was so normal that I didn't even realize how detrimental it was for me and my mental health, and how it would soon be for my future partners and the people that I was trying to build with. So affirmations, I do it not every morning. There are so many mornings that I do almost forget to do it, but I've done it enough times where I'm like, the self-talk is no longer how it was before. So if you go on YouTube and you just type in affirmations for anxiety or affirmations for self-love, affirmations for confidence, affirmations for peace, affirmations for happiness, whatever, you can go ahead and do that. If you want to hear the one that I specifically was using, I did it for about 28 days for sure. Like 28 days, I stuck with it. What works for me is listening to it while I'm like brushing my teeth, washing my face. Like during my morning routine, I listen to it before I even pick this little device up and, start texting and all of that. You also got to work on that, specifically with dating. How do you talk to yourself? Learning your attachment style. Once you also learn your attachment style, you're going to be able to decipher between behavior that is toxic and not helpful and very harmful versus one that is actually going to help your nervous system heal. And also in terms of coping skills and all of that, once you start to unpack your attachment style, and like if you are an avoidant person, a coping skill is going to come natural, and especially that level of awareness, because when you begin to kind of like push people away or hold people at arm's length, you're going to be able to tie it to, is this me being scared of emotional vulnerability? You're going to connect dots way quicker. And it's just going to be amazing. But I know right now we're kind of just figuring out what the hell. So don't get discouraged. Dating is so fun. If you have not had good experiences, again, I would love to hear about it. And maybe we can answer some of the questions on these episodes, specifically tailoring to why dating is so difficult for you. And we can talk about some sort of like game plan or coping skills or how one would navigate it. I'll give you my personal opinion on it, and I'll also obviously sprinkle in some professional mental health advice in there as well. But dating, listen, nowadays it is not for the weak. I also have a theory that the reason why it's so difficult is due to the pop culture. Yes, I love that we're all, in a sense, working towards healing ourselves, and it's beautiful. It's an amazing thing. I also feel like because everyone is so aware that we're all wounded, it's making it difficult for dating to kind of just happen. Like you would have to be super ignorant, essentially, or naive to date right now a little bit. When I go on dates, I'm kind of like, I already know what to look for within myself, and I know what to look for in other people. And like I said, there's still moments where Cassie takes a tumble, right? Like I just fold like a table, but I am way quicker to kind of just reflect on like, what the hell just happened? What happened there that I was not able to hold a boundary? And little by little, like this is how healing happens. So don't expect things to get better overnight. This is a long process. If you're 31 like me, again, my therapist today reminded me, like, I've had 31 years of multiple life experiences that shaped the way that I am today. And a lot of those experiences were not pleasant. To expect things to get better from night to day is extremely unrealistic. You have to practice patience, you have to practice compassion, and sometimes you just have to do what is best in that moment, what is best for the present version of yourself. Okay. And like I said, don't get discouraged with dating. Don't get discouraged with dating. The best place to always start is within. But that is a wrap, my friends. That is a wrap for today's episode. I hope you're walking away with tidbits that are relatable, with some food for thought, maybe a different perspective on things. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe. It's gonna be so helpful for me. And overall, like, just comment and share the love, because it's gonna help me figure out what to talk about a little bit more with y'all in terms of navigating this roller coaster of life from a millennial's perspective. But until next time, I'm sending so much love, so much light. I missed you guys so much, and I miss doing this. And this feels good. This feels good because, like I said, I don't have to pretend to be someone that has it all together. Like, I'm just a millennial. Just a millennial. But take care, and remember that it is okay to not have things figured out. Sincerely, Cass.